Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Footy Times Premier League review show. Thank you for joining us for this week 4 of all the roundup of the matches that happened in the Premier League last weekend. Please, before we start, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us create the content that we love and like to share with you guys. So moving on, you might be thinking, why am I hosting the show and not our regular host, Avinash? And it's pretty clear from the last week's results. It was not it was not a good week for all the Liverpool and Man United fans, particularly in this group.
Yes.
So I'm jumping in, helping them out through this tough week.
Thanks, Rahul.
Yeah, seriously. Thanks.
It feels a bit good after the last week result with Liverpool. Some closure, I guess. So it was a weekend where three teams were unbeaten with their 100% record going in this last week. And two of them were playing against each other. So more bad news for Avinash, actually, more than anyone else. So Liverpool and Aston Villa, both going in with a 100% record. And Everton, the last team with the 100% record going in. And as we all know, Liverpool lost the 100% record, which was, and how that was pretty shocking. So, yeah, so it's going to be an interesting show tonight. But before we continue, let's go on to Sheldon for our stat of the week. Sheldon, please take it.
Thanks a lot, Rahul. And for today's stat of the week, we have, there's no prizes for guesses who we're going to be talking about. It's going to be Liverpool, obviously. The trendsetters. Wait, they're the trendsetters for counter-pressing, highline defending. Wait, can someone remind me? Wait, by how many games did they
Get
win
on
by?
with it, Sheldon.
Wait, was it 7? Oh, okay. Speaking of 7, Liverpool conceded 7 goals. Who would have guessed that? I mean, they conceded 7 goals since April 1963.
Yep.
And as you can tell, it was the first in the Premier League. And any guesses for who won the Premier League? I mean, not Premier League. Who won the league that year in 1963?
United?
No. It wasn't United.
Oh, Everton.
It happened to be Everton. And they happened to be the league leaders.
So, can history repeat itself?
Very interesting.
God, I did not know that. I shouldn't have done the show.
Okay. But you know what? Going by the stats, you know what? Liverpool took about 8 games last season to kind of concede 7 goals in total, and the season before that, they took about 16 games to concede 7 goals. So I don't know. It seems to be that they're having a
16 games.
Yep. And anyways, I think Rahul and I have piled on too much pressure on and on Avinash. I don't want to get too much into that. I'll let him work on the analysis for the Aston Villa and Liverpool. Go ahead.
Can we skip this?
Get it out.
Get it out, Avinash. It's therapeutic. It is therapeutic.
Just to get out of the way. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, where do I start? It was just shambolic from start to finish. To be honest, I don't think it's even sunk in yet how bad this was. I'm sure I'm going to have several moments of epiphany over the course of the next 2 weeks, and my mood is going to go up and down when I, sort of digest this performance more and, But yeah, I mean, this has to be the worst performance that I've seen under Klopp, and I'd probably say the worst performance I've seen in 20 years as a Liverpool fan. And I guess those stats bear that out as well to an extent. But yeah, I want to be mindful of not turning this into a Liverpool rant, because we should give credit where it's due. I think this was all about Aston Villa. They were absolutely sensational on the day. They could have scored 10 or 11 goals. And that is just crazy when you think about who they were up against. What I was impressed with was they had a plan. They targeted Liverpool's high line and the right-hand side in particular with Trent and Gomez. Forensically exploited it, should I say. They won every single second ball and 50-50. They just wanted it more. When they got the ball, they weren't just launching it long. They were cutting through the Liverpool press with ease. And, every time they got the ball, it felt like they were going to score or create a chance. I was just I don't know, flabbergasted watching that game. I didn't know what to say. In terms of individual performances, notable performances from Ollie Watkins, I think he lived up to his price tag. Anybody who watched him in the championship wouldn't have been surprised. And yeah, I mean, what I was impressed with was more than the goals, how like his strength. Like nobody does that to Van Dijk and Gomez. The way he just held them off, his all-round play, his link-up play, and obviously the finishes, everything was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And yeah, have to mention Jack Grealish. I've been a big fan of this guy for a while now, and I thought he just ran the game. Like he was doing everything. He was basically playing balls in behind, getting in behind himself. It was on that when he was cutting it from the left hand side, switching the play. He was just the heartbeat of that team, and he basically ran the show. And stats also bear that out. I think he got 2 goals and 3 assists. Yeah. I had him in my FPL team as well, so that was the only saving grace on the day.
Your FPL team did really good this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's my all-time high. So yeah, that was a bit of saving grace on the day for me. And yeah, I must say I'm glad he stayed at Aston Villa because it doesn't happen much nowadays because I think this guy walks into any team in the top 6, frankly. And to see that he stayed, these kind of stories don't happen often enough. So kudos to him, and Villa are actually showing ambition, so why not? So that was about Villa. From a Liverpool perspective, man, I don't know. We can be here all day if we start picking individuals and individual mistakes. It started with Adrian. Like, I know I've spoken about him. I'm not going to go there. He is the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen. And I've had to endure the likes of Mignolet Karius over the last few years.
True.
And yeah, I mentioned Gomez and Trent had bad games, but I don't want to get into that. I want to talk about some of the tactical things that I picked up. And it's strange because we talked about this exact same thing last week after the Arsenal game, which is the counter pressing. Yep. Yeah, and I mentioned how good they were that night, and how they are the best counter pressing team in Europe. Well, we're going to talk about it again, but in completely the opposite perspective. That was the worst counter-performing performance, or one of the worst counter-pressing performances I've seen from Liverpool. They were just, I don't know, we mentioned, right, last week how fraught with risk the system is, given the high line that they play. If one person is not doing their job, the entire system is exposed, basically. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, do you think that Adrian gets a lot of, undue flack? Yeah, flack for, because he was involved only in the first goal. I mean, the rest
just one goal.
Right. I agree. But you should have seen the defense. They literally lost all faith in him. It just, when you have I've seen it. I've seen it with Mignolet and Karius, what a bad goalkeeper can do to the rest of the team. And especially when you're playing that high line, right? It's ridiculous. You need a lot of confidence in the goalkeeper.
I think Alisson was a huge miss, yep.
Yeah, he's going to be out for 6 weeks. I don't know what we're going to do.
6 weeks, that's confirmed?
4 to 6, but yeah. So yeah. Anyway, let's park that there for now. And yeah, so about the system. So they were just not at it. The midfielders they seemed leggy. They were, like I said, they were losing a lot of 50-50s. They were losing second balls. It was just very, very disorganized. So I really don't know what was going on. And this is something that Jermaine Jean has mentioned on Match of the Day as well. Really, I think this has gotten to a point where it's getting ridiculous now. At what point in a game does the coaching staff, do the players realize that, it's just not working? Do the opposition have to get in behind 5 times, 10 times for them to realize that, they need to change something up?
That looks like the number.
Yeah. Because by the time I think we realized they were 2-0 up, and then basically the heads went.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
In their defense though, wouldn't you... Liverpool have always had this mindset that, if we concede 2, we'll score 5. So was that the mindset going into that, each time they would leave that space?
We're talking about Liverpool from 3 years ago, Sheldon. That's not this current Liverpool team. That's them that half. That's what they have. Defense is very well normally. Some factor which I mentioned, right? Not being there because he usually leads the press. This is not being already discussed. So yeah, I think
guys, just one quick thing.
Staff need to take
there was like a video drop. So can you just repeat the last 5 seconds where there was a drop in the video? So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What were we talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Some
I forgot.
defense
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
ran.
the press. Why the press was not right? Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, Mane missing. Mane being missing. He kind of he leads the press, and he's very
Yeah.
aggressive in that. If Henderson is on the pitch, that performance doesn't happen. And I think we mentioned that they went once they went 2 goals down, their heads kind of went and all that, and obviously Allison. So there were some key members missing, which kind of contributed to this performance. But what I was talking about was the coaching staff need to realize that at some point you just have to kind of park your ego a little bit and maybe get into kind of just drop back 5 or 10 yards, get into more of a medium press. Nobody is saying park the bus, but just retreat a little bit.
Yeah.
And we have the transition game to still be able to hurt teams, right? And it's not like Aston Villa are a great counter-pressing team, so it's not like you're not going to be able to get out of your half either. So these are some things that they have to think about. I think this international break is a good time probably. They won't have the players to drill the system, and that's going to be a problem throughout the season. There's going to be no time on the training pitch. So I don't know how they're going to work around that. But yeah, that's something I wanted to mention. But Klopp did mention that it was actually more of a mental thing. Like I said already, their heads dropped after going 2-0 down, and it was he didn't actually say it wasn't physical, but he seemed to suggest that it was, the reaction wasn't good enough, which I think is an even bigger problem because this is kind of what Liverpool have sort of built their last 2 seasons on, this kind of bounce back ability, if you will, the way they never give up and they keep going till the end. So that was that was a bit strange to see as well. At the end of the day, some perspective just to balance things out. We are still the defending champions, probably one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. Because I think I think Liverpool are still the favourites. That seems to be the sort of overriding feeling.
Yeah.
But
particularly with Pep also not being effective this year, it's definitely Liverpool's
are sort of.
So it's
definitely.
But do you think that the other teams have actually raised their game as well? So
that's
in
true.
a way,
that's true. We'll have to see if it sustains the likes of
I don't see that 100-point. What do you call PL champions this season?
Hard. I mean, this is a strange season, so I don't think we can make any predictions at this point. But on the balance of it, Liverpool still seem best equipped. And I must say that I feel like they've gotten away with it a little bit in terms of the reaction from the media. They may be almost being indulged and maybe fair enough because of everything they've achieved. I think it's important to not. While perspective is important, I think it's important to not sweep this result under the carpet because that was shocking. Like you can lose games, you can have bad days, that can happen, but that is unacceptable. And as far as it's being treated as such by the coaching team, by Klopp, and they kind of use this as a kick up the backside to go again and make sure this doesn't happen again, everything will be good. But if there is a tendency to just say it was just one of those things, it can happen again, I think you will see more such results in the future. So I think that's very important. I think that's pretty much all I had. I just want to stop thinking about it for the next 2 weeks.
It's a good time to have the break, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, honestly, it is.
De-stress, Avinash. You should de-stress for the next week out of this result. Yeah. And I guess moving on to the next part of this review where the other people needs to de-stress. So Sheldon, let's move on to the United Tottenham game.
I honestly speaking, you know what? I don't know if I'll have repeated moments. I'll have to de-stress because I don't trust this United team to begin with.
Who don't you trust? The team, the manager, the management?
Yeah.
It's very difficult to see. Yeah. It's no, but for I mean, if you ask me right off the bat, who do I not trust? I don't trust the defense that we have right now.
That's true.
It's because that's been this game was primarily we lost because of the defense and obviously of the red card that Martial kind of got. But to start off, what United started off, they came off the blocks pretty quick. They scored. They scored a penalty goal, which was right in the second minute. But we came right away attacking. Martial ran to at the Tottenham defense and got that penalty, and we kind of got that crucial goal. we haven't been really good starters of the game in the past two games, but we've kind of done really. I mean, we did well in that game to start off with.
Yeah.
Then what happened was typical Jose team. We got hit on the break, and also for the fact that our defense couldn't deal with the clearances. It was that segment was a clown performance,
God.
basically by our defenders, because it was like one header from Maguire to Bailly, or sorry, from Bailly to Maguire,
Oh,
then
that
leading
goal.
to Shaw
And the
trying to
worst,
actually
Matt,
clear the ball.
yeah.
yeah, the worst
And
part was Maguire pulls Shaw down in
Shot
the.
up.
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
He
how
tackled
does that
Shaw.
happen?
This is similar to last season. Didn't he man mark one of his own players?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it
was
the
not-
no, that
Southampton
was like
game?
exactly. He man marked. Was it and Aaron Van Bissaka in one of the.
It was
No,
Southampton.
Anyways,
Lindelof.
But
Lindelof.
yeah,
I think it was
yeah,
Lindelof.
yeah. Anyway, let's move
yeah.
on.
Was it?
Yeah.
Anyways, either you could put anyone. Maguire is going to screw things up. That as he has proven. I mean, he pulls a Shaw down and then giving Ndombele to actually a clear cut to score the goal. Then I think he was involved in about 3 goals, and not for the good side. I mean, he was drawn out all the way in the all the way by the halfway line for Kane's, where he fouled Kane, and then Kane kind of goes with a quick free kick to release Son. Now, the thing about Maguire is like, why you're not known for your pace. Why would you come all the way over there and play such a high line? I mean, it leaves the entire back line exposed, and that was like another mess. And then the third one was the one which was like he gets nutmegged when Aurier is trying to cross the ball. It goes right through his legs all the way to
Yeah.
Son and back in the De Gea picking out from the back of the net. Now, you know what? For us, it's probably easier to think like, oh, he made these 3 crucial mistakes. But then when I was looking at like his actual stats, he had like 1 interception, he committed 1 foul, and he had 1 clearance the entire game. And
Oh, wow.
okay, he had 3 aerial duels, but one of those aerial duels led to a goal. So I don't know what the hell he's being paid. We spent 80 million on this guy. He's the equivalent to Kepa.
Yeah.
So I mean, I hate to dwell on the individual aspect of the game. It is a team game at the end of the day, but we at least expect our captain to kind of to lead from the front, and he hasn't been doing that at all. And then what, to make matters worse, I mean, we were going to lose the game just by our performances to begin with, but then to make matters worse, Martial gets a red card, which is highly controversial because he gets
Elbow.
elbow in the neck by.
Yeah.
I think the red card was not controversial. Probably Eric Lamela should have been sent off as well.
Yeah, so-
Probably.
Actually, this is just maybe I'm wearing it. I'm providing my bias. I'm wearing my red tinted glasses, but if you look at Martial, he palmed, he touched his face.
I think it's the idea of a foul, not.
So-
I mean,
so-
it's.
The mic picked up what the referee was saying. He said it's not violent conduct. I mean, Martial's was, but Nabela's wasn't, which doesn't really make sense. But I think this just because it's something a lot of players get away with, this kind of elbowing, when they are trying to hold an opponent off. And somehow it's when you make a sort of deliberate attempt to touch any part of the player's face, it's seen as violent conduct. It's just the way things have become established.
Yeah.
And I guess something needs to change here because, like he said, I do agree that either both should have gone or they should have both stayed on. That it doesn't make sense to send off Martial.
Completely fair. Okay, I'm fine with with both of them being taken off the field. But then it was just, I mean, oh my God, Lamela, he needs to go into acting, man. He behaved like someone had to
He's-
give him the Heimlich maneuver or something.
Like, have you watched the? I'm sure you watched the All or Nothing documentary, right? Mourinho was always talking about being nasty, being
Exactly.
and yeah, Lamela's the only player. Yeah, this is something I think we've all known. He is a bit of a shithouse,
Oh my God.
to say the least. And he's kind of, I was not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, that obviously was a turning point of the game because, I mean, I think that would have made a difference of conceding 2 extra goals as opposed to, 6. We would have ended up with probably 4-2 or something like that. That's my take on it. But you know what? Moving on to Pogba, dude, the guy, I don't know what the hell he's been doing. He's been like uh, washing dishes for Ollie, or doing his laundry or what. How the hell does he stay on the pitch that long? Like
Yeah.
the guy has had three back-to-back terrible performances. Okay, you know what? We could say that, oh, he took off Bruno and Matic, so he had to have someone who was able to command the midfield. But the guy has really bad positional sense. I mean, he was responsible for the other two goals that we conceded. He couldn't mark Aurier, which led to the fifth goal. And the sixth goal, well, guess what? He starts tackling from the halfway line. He reaches the penalty box, and then, and then obviously, I can't remember who went down. It was.
Uh,
Do you remember?
yeah, I don't
I
remember.
Doesn't
don't
matter, I
remember.
guess.
Oh, it doesn't
Anyways,
matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
in the
Forgettable
large
game,
scheme of,
anyways.
in the bigger scheme of things,
Pogba, he was the reason why we conceded those two goals, and he wasn't really creating much from the from for on the offense side, anyways. And then it's still, you know what does Van de Beek need to do to get us starting? I mean, to start the game. I
Yeah,
mean,
I was surprised. I was surprised. Like, why
he's
doesn't
been,
he start?
yeah. I mean, it's, and then what
who do you take out of the team, right? That's the problem. Unless you go
isn't
with
it
four midfield.
obvious? I mean, I've been ranting
Pogba?
about Pogba. Take out
Yeah.
Pogba, man. He
But
shouldn't be
yeah,
playing. I mean,
Yeah.
the argument is that, oh, Pogba needs to start the game because he, hasn't had enough minutes and stuff. You know what? Bring him off the bench. Start him in the cup games. The league is very important for us. We need to make top four, and that is obviously going to be crucial since we've not made, really good transfers. Which is another can of worms to open. But the point I was trying to make was VDB had to start and Bruno had to remain on the pitch. He is the only leadership sort of the only leader that we have on the pitch,
Mm-hmm.
despite having Maguire over there, who can actually rally the team together and actually get a result. And he was taken off, and I guess I heard the rumor that he was probably taken off because he had a go at Maguire at halftime in the dressing room, which is
Yeah.
why the
No,
Oli
that
probably
would be
took him.
pretty shocking.
Yeah, but you know what? Just when you think that the 6-1, it was a terrible result for us, and our executives, Matt Judge and Ed Woodward, would go in the transfer market and actually get us some defenders. And when I say defenders, I mean centre backs. No, we didn't. We got two attacking players who are kids, and then we get an aging Cavani and Telles,
you did
who's
get a left back. Yeah.
actually not really good for his defensive prowess. So it's going to be interesting. I feel we're going to be playing 3-5-2 a lot with Luke Shaw playing as the left centre back.
Center, left center. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that being said, I would like to say that Jose rather, played. He knew how United were going to play. He exploited us, and kudos to Kane and Son for actually, and for their team to actually
Yeah.
exploiting us, actually getting a result, and yeah, 6-1. So yeah, that's all I had to say for this. That's my rant for this game.
Nisar, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, as in just a couple of quick points. First of all, like for the free kick that Harry Kane passed the ball to Son, it was schoolboyish. You just stand on the ball like it is Harry
Or
Maguire.
even kick
Like,
it away, right?
just kick it.
Yeah,
Like like
Take a
who?
yellow card.
Why are you stepping behind? It was so that for me was like, how could you do that? The other thing was, as Sheldon touched on, to the man management was poor. I felt, as in we should have realized that we couldn't have won the game very soon, and
Yeah.
yeah,
have had five in the back, like from the get go. But other than that, it is unbelievable that like Tottenham fourth game in this week, fourth game, and
yeah.
after that they do this to United, and that too away, and this was United playing at home. So
Oh
so
yeah.
again, we talked about this in the last episode, that how it's started matter to less, like without the audience, but that was just unbelievable for me. And yeah, I do feel that signings or no signings, I think we need to find a way to stop goals going in. As in conceding what we've conceded 11 goals now. Uh,
11
three
goals in
games
3 games. Yep.
is just not done. Like last season, all the success initially was mainly because we were finding a way to keep clean sheets. And yeah, I
Yep.
still feel that this Pogba Bruno combination is hard to work. As in, I don't see how it can effectively work. I think I would almost say that if you have to make it work, you switch positions for Bruno and Pogba. As in, Pogba needs more license. He doesn't have the discipline to play in that number 8 role. I feel that Bruno probably would suit that role more. But that's just just some additional points I wanted to add in. Yeah, I hope I forget this game soon and move on.
Yeah, man, dude,
Can,
it's
can I just say, tribute to
Yeah.
Kane and Son. What a, I mean, they were playing
Son
like a
had an
strike.
amazing game.
You know,
Son had
yeah,
he wasn't even supposed to start.
I know. And I
Yeah,
somehow
and
I didn't move him out of my FPL team because I didn't have money, and it worked out well for me in the end. But anyway, what I wanted to say was they played like a classic
Yeah,
strike duo, while one is dropping deep and the other is sort of getting
yeah.
in behind. And Kane
yeah,
was
yeah,
absolutely sensational. He did the thing again that he did against Southampton, where he was
yes,
dropping into
yeah,
those spaces and playing him repeatedly. And
playing
the
like a
quick free
number
kick
10
is something
almost.
I've seen him do. He did it against
Yeah.
Liverpool, I think a couple of seasons ago, where exactly that. He just takes it quickly and plays somebody in behind. So
Yeah.
I mean that combination is looking pretty deadly. And if you add Bale to the mix,
Bail to the
yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say
Bale
yeah.
and they
I
also
actually
bought Carlos Vinicius too. So
It also
yeah,
feels like they have switched
top heavy.
roles. As in, like you see Son way more in the box now as compared to
yeah,
Kane, and like as you said, like Kane is
that's
dropping deep
definitely
and like creating holes for Son
he's
to run in.
basically he's basically using up that space, right,
Yeah,
to run in behind,
Yeah,
fill that void,
I
so to
think
speak.
I think it's a correct me if I'm wrong, but it reminds me of like Jose how he plays. I mean, he prefers to have someone like quick on the break and stuff like that.
yeah,
So maybe
Yeah,
the fact that Son is like so a lot more quicker than Harry Kane, he's probably using that to his advantage. So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Whatever he's doing is working.
yes. All
yeah,
right.
man,
Yeah,
it's
let's see if they can keep it up.
Yep. Let's move on. Forget the terrible results.
yeah.
All right, now we are done. Who's next? I think
Yeah, I think
Rahul.
Rahul
Right.
seems to be frozen. Yeah, he's back.
Oops, has he dropped off?
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah, yeah. You're
Hello.
back.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Did we
guys.
lose you? Oh,
I think I have some.
No, I think we're fine now.
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yeah,
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Rahul. He dropped off and we started talking about Tottenham.
Yeah. Oh god.
as in if you're fixing
Yeah.
your network issues, then I can go ahead with the Chelsea game, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do that.
Yeah. So moving on to the less boring or like boring games, I guess. As in not as adventurous as the previous ones. Uh, it was Chelsea versus Palace. Chelsea 4, Palace 0. I just felt it was a clinical performance by Chelsea. First game for their new goalkeeper and Chilwell, and they start with a clean sheet.
Oh,
So uh, I think this just brings back the point that Avinash was trying to make with Adrian. Like knowing that you have a good keeper makes a very big difference to the defense. He didn't do a lot in the game, but I just feel that you feel more secure, I guess. Uh,
Yeah.
and on top of it, like Chilwell had a great game. 1 goal, 1 assist,
oh, yeah.
influence
Mm.
pretty much throughout the game. And I also felt like Werner and Havertz were playing in the right positions this time around to have a greater impact in the team.
Yeah.
I think Werner on the wings and Tammy Abraham up front was the right thing to do, and Havertz was playing in that number 10 role, which I think suits him the best. Then on top of it, there are two very uh, soft penalties that were given by
Yeah. Yep.
and Jorginho was clinical. This just points to the fact of the FPL tip of taking penalty takers in your team. It looks like that kind of a season.
Yeah.
Uh, Although I don't know what you guys felt, but like, did you see the second penalty and how Tammy Abraham reacted? It was very weird. So he,
Yeah,
yeah, he wanted to take the penalty kick really badly. So they had like a small fight almost,
Yeah.
which is like kind of childish, and
well, it kind of.
yeah.
I mean, Avinash should remember this. It happened between Henderson and Balotelli.
Oh my God.
Similar thing.
So long ago. Well, I don't even remember, to be honest.
Yeah, there
But
was
yeah, I
a
would.
similar incident, obviously, but yeah, go ahead. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's yeah.
Jorginho is one of the better penalty takers at Chelsea.
Yeah,
I think he's the designated penalty taker. Maybe it was 3-0 up, so Tammy felt he should get on the score sheet basically. But yeah.
that was kind of funny. And yeah, in general, I think nothing more to add to the game. I think it was a very clinical performance, and Lampard would be happy, and it feels like the team is settling in a bit. So
Yeah.
so yeah,
Police.
I was
and yeah,
I was
Pulisic
actually
is about
going
to
to
come
say
back, or did he
He
come?
came off the bench, did he?
I
He came off the bench
I think
in
Pulisic.
the
Yeah, he
game.
was on the substitutes bench.
yeah,
I think he played. He
I
came off the
probably
bench or
played
something.
for some time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great. I mean,
It's actually, if we looked at the game for Pulisic, I mean for the Chelsea game, they had Pulisic and Mount on the bench. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, to have that kind of talent.
yeah.
The other thing is, do you feel it's concerning the fact that Havertz and Werner haven't really been scoring that much in the
Yeah, I
I
think
in
think
the
I think
Premier
it's
League
Werner,
as such?
yes.
yeah,
Werner probably, but
not Havertz. As in
Havertz, Havertz is fine.
As in Havertz did create that penalty, the second one.
Yeah.
So
Havertz is fine. But yeah, Werner
Yeah,
probably needs to
and
get on the score sheet soon.
and
It's just for his
maybe
confidence.
I also heard the commentator say during the game that Werner actually went to Jorginho and asked for the penalty for the first penalty, and Jorginho said no. And so
Everybody wants to take it
he
off
was like,
Jorginho, man. One penalty misses against Liverpool. And
no,
people
but,
think it's a
but
soft
honestly
target now.
speaking, don't you think that Jorginho has been scoring has been scoring goals, and it probably makes sense to build confidence for the strikers
Werner.
to get
but I
that.
think it depends on the situation.
as in, I
again,
don't
to be
agree
honest.
to that.
Like,
I just feel that a team should have.
if it's an
yeah,
important penalty,
a team
then
should have a.
yeah, they
No,
should
but
have
if you're
it.
if you're 2 goals up, don't you think it makes a little? I mean,
I think two goals is still a tricky
Yeah.
scoreline in
Yeah.
the Premier League. It's always tricky. So
maybe.
probably maybe the fourth one. I think he could have given it, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they decided against it. But anyway, I think we should
Yeah.
probably move on. Rahul is back, so
Yes.
you can take the Arsenal game.
Yeah, so I think one word to describe the game was boring. The game was pretty boring throughout, which looking at the results, I really don't mind a boring game, which we got stuck
You
in
take on
and
it.
got.
I would have taken a
got all
boring.
three- Yeah, exactly. So looking at the results, I'm happy with a boring game. Particularly the first half. But the first half was the Arsenal were playing pretty flat. There was no creative sort of dynamic. Like the team weren't creating any chances. The ball pressing was pathetic. Like off the ball, the team wasn't good at all at pressing the opposition. So yeah, all in all, first half was pretty boring and uneventful, and I was hoping that we wouldn't sort of lose ourselves and sort of lose the game from that point. But to their credit, the second half, Arteta made a very good sort of a change where he brought off Nketiah and brought Pepe in. So that sort of brought Willian into a more of a center attacking role, and he played the game really well at that position. Like he drifted in from the wing into the central role, and he had a pretty good game inside, pulling the strings and picking a lot of good passes there. So that was good. And the another good thing that I liked about the gameplay was El Nini. So he was a very good support at right back. Like, so he used to drop deep, and that sort of gave Bellerin the license to bomb ahead. And he had 2 assists also. Bellerin had 2 assists in the game. So and he had a pretty amazing game. After a long time, I felt Bellerin had a really good game. He had like a couple of bursts where he tracked back to the defender, got a ball, won the ball. So that was pretty good. So I think for me, he had a pretty solid performance, Bellerin. Uh, the last goal, it was a bit late, but it was still a bit nervy, conceding a very soft goal at the end on the 84th minute. So that was a bit nervy at the end. But yeah, I'm good that Arsenal sort of kept at it, dug in, and basically the Arteta factor is there in the team where they grind out a result even if they are not the best team on the pitch on the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty good. And just to add on it, a little thing that I've noticed is how Arteta celebrates every win. Like it's almost like he won a final, which really, like if you see the celebration at the end after the final whistle, it like he pumps his fist and jumps or whatever, which is pretty good. I feel like it sort of
Shows
creates that
passion.
atmosphere. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So just wrapping up with one stat, Arsenal just had 6 shots throughout the game, which is the lowest at home for Arsenal, outside of the top 6. So
Why could we
didn't
have
a
had
lot-
this for start of the week?
No, Liverpool's stats are
Conversion
much
rate.
interesting, Avinash.
Yeah. All right.
You can be in denial all you want.
No, I've accepted it. I think.
Yeah, so despite having like a good amount of possession, just 6 shots and 5 were on target, but we didn't have a lot of conversion.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's
Would
see.
you- Would you start Pepe now?
I don't
in
think
the-
so. I wouldn't. I still
Okay.
wouldn't. I feel Willian is doing a really good job on the right hand side of the field. And I feel he still deserves to start. And I guess they changed it up this week because Lacazette was not of a very good form. So I think that's why they wanted to switch something, and that's why they started Nketiah, who is in a good goal scoring form, but that didn't pay off also. But no, not like in like the next couple of games, I would still persist with Willian because he has been a very good player, according to me at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to add one quick thing. It's weird to see Sheffield do so bad. Like after what they did, I'm kind of fearing the worst
the
for them.
goals.
As in,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would like to
It's
echo,
the second season syndrome, I think.
Yeah.
or either that,
Teams
or I
work
would like
them
to
out a little
echo Avinash's comment earlier, where the goalkeeper makes a huge difference.
Maybe
Not having Henderson.
that's yeah.
But I don't, not so much in that system. I think Ramsdale is still fine. They still have to, yeah, maybe.
He
but-
had like a shocker. I mean, at one point he had a misplaced pass which went to one of the
yeah,
Arsenal
he's
players,
also
and they
probably
almost scored.
adjusting to the team. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can
Maybe.
see that as well. But
Yeah.
I still think they will figure it out.
Yeah.
Because they have good players and they have a good system. So
True.
you've seen this before with teams.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard once you stay up to maintain that level.
Yeah.
I think they'll figure it out. And just one last thing that I want to mention was Saka. I think he seemed to be playing midfield. One of the midfield 3 and kind of a hybrid midfield left wing.
So I think throughout the game the formation was changing a lot. Like people were playing different roles. So as I said, Elneny, he was playing sometimes on the right back, and sometimes so it was like a 5-3-2. Sometimes it was 4.
It's a very fluid system.
So yeah, it was a very fluid system, and Saka is capable of doing that, which I'm not surprised with.
We pointed this out, I think, like how versatile
left wing back.
So I think that's just another sort of feather in his cap. How well he played inside this. He's
got a
fantastic.
call up. In England.
England
That's big.
He'll probably
Which-
play.
Which
Yeah,
is
well,
the
going
triple
back to
headers.
the Aston Villa game, though. Why did Grealish didn't have a call up, which was surprising. Like I thought he might get a call up, but he didn't.
I think the problem is I think Southgate sees him as a left-sided player, and Rashford is probably first choice.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's happening there. But anyway,
And
I
I
think
just also
Yeah,
quickly
we should-
wanted to mention, like, this is the tweet that kind of like cheered me up or like cracked me up, was Mesut Ozil trying to save the mascot.
Pay for Gunnar.
Oh yeah, I want to mention that
Gunnar.
actually.
So
I think that's a
was-
class gesture from Ozil.
But
He offered to
it
pay
can
his-
be
his-
it can be
it can
both
be
ways,
seen
Avinash.
both ways. I think the fans
Exactly.
are like just go out of our club and save all the wages that you are sitting on.
Yeah, I mean, easily he would have saved like 8 or 10 employees their jobs at Arsenal. I feel just his own
but I mean,
wages.
Yeah, it's nobody does that, right? No player is going to take a wage cut when they're earning that much, and after all, it is a short career.
Yeah.
So it is,
Uh,
yeah.
But I think that was still
Exactly.
I like the gesture, to be honest.
I did like to. So just wanted to like tie it in with the Arsenal game.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I actually forgot about it.
Ganosaurus.
Okay, so what do we have left? I think
The
Leeds
Leeds
versus
versus City
City, right?
game.
Yeah,
If you
I
want to
really
take
want to
that,
talk about
Avinash.
this.
Go for it,
Yeah,
Avinash.
so hopefully I can get to this quickly. So yeah, I mean, I must say this was one of the games, probably the game I was looking forward to the most in the lead up. Obvious reasons, Bielsa versus Guardiola, it's like two ideologues of the game, philosophers almost. You know, they have very clear philosophies, clear, style of play, and they will not deviate from it, and no matter what. And to be honest, the game didn't disappoint. But I must admit, like before the game, I was kind of worried that City would hammer Leeds, like put 6, 7, 8 past them. Kind of the usual sort of annual drubbing they give out to Watford. And given that Watford are not in the league, that I was fearing that they may make Leeds sort of their victim. Given that Leeds use a man marking system, so basically for those who don't know, they kind of go man for man. They don't defend the space or zone. What they do is they go man for man all over the pitch, except up front where Bamford is up against the two centre backs usually. So that basically gives them a spare man at the back to essentially play like a sweeper and clean up if the team sort of the man marking doesn't work essentially. But then the problem I saw with this is ultimately City have better players all over the pitch, and with respect to most teams in the Premier League, in fact all teams I'd say. So I was kind of worried that they're just on the basis of their individual quality, they'd be able to just cut through Leeds and basically score at will. And that kind of looked like what might happen in the first 30 minutes. It was a little reminiscent of the way they played against Wolves. They came out all guns blazing. It felt like every single time they went forward, they would score. They were not very clinical. Sterling again missed a couple of chances before he eventually scored. But then I don't know what happened. After they scored, they somehow just seemed to ease off a little bit. I saw them almost backing off, and they retreated and they started defending a bit more. And then that just kind of, I felt like that gave Leeds the confidence to come out and start playing their game. And that kind of started in the first half towards the end. But that second half, I must admit, I have not seen a more end-to-end football match in my life.
Yeah,
That
it was pretty
just
crazy.
mad. Every time the ball got turned over, because basically before you knew it, it was at the other end of the pitch, right? In the final third, or he was taking a shot, or and it was just basically creating a chance. And I enjoyed it immensely. I don't think Pep saw it that way. I think he'd have probably been tearing his hair out if he had any, because that's not how he likes to play. Pep, we know, is all about control. He wants to keep the ball. He wants to control every single aspect of the game, and that would not have given him a lot of satisfaction. And again, I feel like this is largely due to the man marking. Pep mentioned this as well in the post-match interview. So because Leeds don't defend the zone, right? They never sort of ease off you, or they never get into a shape and give you the ball. They're always aggressive. They're always on their man, trying to win it back. So what's going to happen is either they're going to win it back, or you're going to be able to just play through them and get to the other end of the pitch very easily. So that is assuming the other team doesn't sit back, right? And any team who wants to play, who wants to go toe-to-toe, you're going to see these kind of games against Leeds, which is what we've already seen with both Man City and Liverpool. So I think that was very revealing from a tactical perspective. So it was very interesting to see, and I'm just glad that, City dropped points.
Yeah.
I obviously, I was less glad after Sunday, but still, it's still good that Leeds didn't cave in as I thought. Just some statistical insights from the game. Like I mentioned, City's shot conversion was really poor. I think they had like only 2 shots on target out of 23.
Yeah.
That was mad. I think Leeds
You had Sterling up front, who doesn't have the greatest of conversion rate, so that explains
not
it.
the best. Yeah. And Leeds had 7 shots on target out of 12. Edison made some great saves actually.
Yeah.
City could easily have lost
that one.
Except for that one mistake that he made.
But on the balance of it, that goal was coming, I'd say. And Leeds also had a better XG, 2.57 to 1.42, and even more possession than Man City. Like
that never happens.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, but it was like 53% to 47%, which is kind of, again, bears out the sort of end-to-end nature of the game, that both teams were constantly at it. So, I mean, Leeds are really sort of, they are just building the reputation game after game. And I don't know, they could easily end up top half. at this rate.
Yeah.
Maybe even
As a
higher.
United fan, I'm not looking forward to that game.
Yeah.
And but just to, just to think about it, I mean, the fact that City don't have a recognized established striker up front right now, they're playing what do you call essentially
Sterling.
3 wingers up front,
Yeah.
and Sterling. Wouldn't it be better if they were playing a diamond instead? With 2 forwards rather, and then you have like a Bernardo Silva or a De Bruyne in the number false 9 position.
I think he did that against Real Madrid, kind of, last season.
Oh.
Yeah, the thing about Pep is he likes to have that width. So that width has to come from somewhere. I suppose it could come from the fullbacks. But
Yeah,
I think this
exactly.
kind of thing will
Oh
probably
no,
happen.
it cannot come from the fullbacks. With
Yeah.
Mendy, yeah, it cannot come.
Mendy is a
If he
different
goes
thing.
ahead, he's not coming
I mean,
behind.
as long as somebody covers for them, right? Ultimately, that's what any system is about. It's about balance. So
Yeah.
probably it would happen in game at times where there will be nobody up front, I guess, given that Sterling is not exactly a striker. So yeah, it's a bit of a fluid system. So I think if we don't have anything, we can probably quickly round up a couple of other notable results.
Yeah. Which
Again,
one,
Everton.
Avinash? Everton.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this. But Everton 4, Brighton 2. Everton have maintained their 100% record, the only team to do so after having played 4 games. The other being Aston Villa, who played only 3.
After 3 games, yeah.
Yeah, so they are top of the table going into the international break. So do we make them
Who's
title
the
favorites
next
now?
game with? Who's the next game, Avinash? Who are they playing next? Everton?
Us. Yeah, I mean, I was actually hoping it will be finally we'd have a Goodison derby where it's kind of,
Evenly
it's more
matched.
attacking.
Not tilted.
Yeah, they come out and
Yeah.
play, but I'm not so sure anymore. Maybe we should park the bus. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I don't think we should be scared of
I
Everton
think
no matter
it'll be
what.
an interesting game. Yep.
Yeah. I'd say it's still fanciest, but I think we need to be careful
Yeah.
there. If we don't turn up, we could easily lose. And yeah, West Ham 3, Leicester 0. I don't know what happened with Leicester.
Yeah.
I mean, forget Leicester, right? West Ham. Jeez. They looked absolutely
They're being-
shambolic on the opening day.
I
They were
put
being tipped for
West Ham.
relegation.
I'd put West Ham as one of those teams to be relegated when we
I
were
know,
first
right?
deciding, and they blow.
I mean,
Blow away
start off with
Leicester.
this
yeah,
performance. Yeah, it's been crazy.
the last 2 results are 7-0 against Wolves and Leicester combined. And Mikel Antonio has been killing it. That front 3 of Fornals, Antonio, and Bowen was actually really, really good. David Moyes wasn't on the touchline. In fact, wasn't in the stadium either. So, make of that what you will. So,
better fortune.
yeah. Or, anyway, I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, so that should be it, I think. I'm glad we got that out of the way. I hope I don't have to talk about something like this again. So,
Same here.
yeah, unless you guys have anything to add, we can probably wrap.
No. Yep.
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
All right. So once again, like, share, subscribe.
And subscribe. Press the bell
Follow
icon.
us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter
Yep.
for interesting stat of the week and more
we'll be-
FPL predictions.
Right, we'll be putting the start of the week on Twitter as well. So yeah, do that, and we
Absolutely.
will see you next week, or no, 2 weeks time for Game Week 4. Alrighty then.
Yep.
Bye.
See you guys.